Have you ever felt it? That strange feeling after making a decision, a sense of cognitive dissonance you can't quite shake. Maybe you bought something you didn't really need, or you agreed to a favor you didn't have time for, or you were convinced by an argument that, in hindsight, feels hollow. You ask yourself, why did I say yes? What part of me made that choice? The answer is that our conscious, rational mind is only a small part of who we are. Much of the time, we operate on autopilot, a system of mental shortcuts and evolutionary scripts that run our lives without our active consent. And for centuries, masters of influence from politicians to marketers, two charismatic leaders have known how to speak directly to this autopilot system. They know how to activate these hidden scripts to get what they want. This isn't magic, it's not a superpower. It's a science of the mind. Based on the groundbreaking work of Dr. Robert Cialdini, we are about to decode the 6 fundamental weapons of influence. This is more than just a list, this is a user manual for the human brain. Understand these principles, and you'll not only be able to defend yourself against daily attempts at manipulation, but you'll also learn how to ethically harness this power to become profoundly more persuasive. This is Powerology. The first and most powerful weapon is reciprocity. The principle is simple. As humans, we are socially conditioned to repay, in kind, what another person has provided for us. This isn't just a social nicety, it's the very foundation of cooperation that allowed our ancestors to survive. The feeling of indebtedness is a powerful motivator. This is why companies give you free samples, why a colleague might offer you unsolicited help with a project, or why a non-profit might include a small gift in a donation letter. The free cookie isn't just a taste, it's a social debt. Now you feel a deep, often subconscious obligation to buy the box. The power move in any relationship or negotiation: be the first to give value without any stated expectation of return. Offer help, provide unique information, or make a small, upfront concession. This creates a psychological imbalance that the other person will feel compelled to correct, often with a yes to your much larger, future request. How to defend yourself? The key is to recognize the tactic. When someone gives you something for free, consciously ask yourself, is this a genuine gift, or is this a compliance tool? Learn to accept the initial favor or gift, but mentally separate it from the request that follows. You can say, "Thank you very much for the offer, I appreciate it. Now, regarding your proposal, it's not the right fit for me at this time." You are obligated to return a favor, not to purchase a product you don't want. Weapon number 2, scarcity. Opportunities seem more valuable to us when their availability is limited. This principle preys on 2 deep-seated fears: the fear of missing out, and the psychological phenomenon of loss aversion, where the pain of losing something is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. Marketers are masters of this. Limited time offer, only 2 seats left. Exclusive members-only deal. This offer will not be repeated. Scarcity creates a sense of urgency that shuts down our analytical brain and pushes us into an emotional, impulsive state. The power move. In your career, don't just be available all the time. Frame your unique skills and your time as a scarce and valuable resource. When you present an idea, you can add an element of scarcity. This opportunity is only available for this quarter, or I only have the bandwidth to take on one more project of this magnitude. When people understand that your expertise is valuable and not infinitely accessible, they will prioritize your requests and value your input more. How to defend yourself? The moment you feel that emotional rush of urgency, that panic of missing out, stop, pause, take a breath, separate the item from its availability. Ask yourself, if this item were plentiful and I could buy it any day of the week, would I still want it? Does it solve a real problem for me? The answer will bring you back to a rational state, allowing you to judge the offer on its actual merits, not on the manufactured panic. The third weapon is authority. We are taught from birth to obey legitimate authority figures. This is a functional shortcut. We trust doctors in white coats. We listen to financial experts with titles next to their names, and we follow instructions from uniformed officers. Authority signals knowledge and power, so we often turn off our own critical thinking and simply comply. The danger is that we often respond to the symbols of authority, not the substance. An expensive suit, a luxury car, a fancy title, these are all props that can trigger our deference, whether the person has genuine expertise or not. The power move. To use this ethically, you don't need a fancy title. You build real authority by consistently demonstrating deep expertise in your field. Share valuable insights through writing or speaking. Present your arguments with data and evidence. Dress in a way that signals respect for the situation. Become the go-to expert in your niche, and people will naturally defer to your judgment and seek out your opinion. It is earned authority, the most powerful kind. How to defend yourself? Develop the habit of asking 2 simple questions when confronted by an authority figure trying to influence you. First, is this person a true credentialed expert in this specific field? And second, even more importantly, how trustworthy is this expert? What do they have to gain by my compliance? This separates genuine expertise from someone who is merely wearing the costume of authority. Weapon number 4, commitment and consistency. We have a deep, almost obsessive psychological need to be consistent with what we have already said or done once we make a choice or take a stand, especially a public one. We encounter powerful internal and interpersonal pressures to behave consistently with that commitment. This is because consistency is associated with personal and intellectual strength. This is the foot in the door technique. Get someone to agree to a small, seemingly innocent request, and they'll be far more likely to agree to a larger, related one later because they want to remain consistent with their initial action. The power move in a meeting. Don't present your biggest, most controversial idea first. Start by getting everyone to agree on a small, shared value or principle. I think we can all agree that our number one priority is customer satisfaction, right? Once everyone has publicly committed to that principle, they will be psychologically primed to accept your larger proposal, because to reject it would be to act inconsistently with their stated belief. How to defend yourself. Be extremely cautious about agreeing to small, trivial requests, especially from people you don't know. Before you commit to anything, ask yourself, where could this lead? It is also crucial to understand that it is okay to be inconsistent in the face of new information. Foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. It is a sign of strength, not weakness. To say, based on this new data, I have changed my mind. The fifth and most subtle weapon is liking. It's no surprise that we are more likely to be influenced by people we know and like. But the science behind what makes us like people is fascinating. We like people who are physically attractive, the halo effect. We like people who are similar to us. We like people who pay us compliments. And we like people who cooperate with us towards common goals. Master persuaders are experts at manufacturing rapport and connection, making you feel like you've known them for years. The power move before you try to persuade. Build genuine rapport. Don't fake it. Do your research. Find common ground, whether it's a shared hobby, a hometown, or a professional goal. Offer sincere, specific praise for their past work. Frame your goals as a collaborative effort, a partnership. People are exponentially more willing to say yes to a request from someone they consider a friend, or at least a friendly ally, than from a stranger. How to defend yourself. The strategy is to mentally separate the person from the product or request. When you feel yourself liking a salesperson or negotiator, make a conscious effort to step back. Ask yourself, in the last 20 minutes, has this person done anything to make me like them? Have they complimented me? Found a surprising similarity? Then, make your decision based solely on the merits of the deal itself. Would I agree to this if it were proposed by someone I disliked? Finally, the sixth weapon, social proof. When we are uncertain or the situation is ambiguous, we look to the actions and behaviors of others to determine our own. We assume that if a lot of people are doing something, it must be the correct thing to do. This is why bartenders salt their tip jars at the beginning of the night, why TV shows use canned laughter, and why customer testimonials and reviews are the backbone of online commerce. Social proof is a powerful shortcut that often keeps us safe, but it can also lead us astray. The power move. When you're trying to convince a boss, a team, or a client, don't just say your idea is good. Provide evidence that others, ideally similar others, already think so. Use case studies, share glowing testimonials, or mention how a respected competitor successfully implemented a similar approach. You are removing the risk and uncertainty from the decision. You're showing them they're not taking a leap of faith, they're joining a consensus of winners. How to defend yourself. Learn to question the validity and context of social proof. Are these reviews real, or are they fake? Are these other people in a situation that is truly comparable to yours? Sometimes the crowd is not wise. The crowd is just following the first person who moved, a phenomenon called pluralistic ignorance. Learn to be comfortable breaking from the crowd when your own evidence and logic point in a different direction. These 6 weapons are the hidden levers of influence that shape our world. They are the reason we buy, comply, and believe. Used without integrity, they are insidious tools of manipulation, but understood and used ethically, they are the tools of powerful and effective persuasion. The real power isn't in tricking people into saying yes. It's in understanding the fundamental drivers of human behavior so deeply that your proposals are naturally, willingly, and enthusiastically accepted. This is the knowledge that separates the amateur from the master. This is the science of power. If you are ready to master these tools, subscribe to Powerology for your weekly training in the science of power. And now, a question for you to reflect on. Comment below and tell me, which of these 6 weapons have you seen used most effectively, for good or for bad, in your own life?